Well, hi everyone. Today I'm with Dayna Sykes, and Dayna is a licensed professional counselor supervisor, a registered play therapy supervisor, an EMDR consultant in training, as well as a TraumaPlay supervisor. And Dayna has her own practice, which is on a farm, which is on her farm, which she's at right now. So welcome, Dayna.
Hi, thank you for having me, Maria.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. So, Dayna, we've got 10 more minutes. What's one thing you would love for the world to know?
Oh gosh, I thought about this question a lot because one thing, there's so many things, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think right now my message is about parenting.
Mm.
Parenting is such a tough job, and it's even harder if you're parenting from unhealed wounds.
Ooh.
And so when that happens, you're experiencing your nervous system just being hijacked whenever your
Mm.
child has big emotions, big behaviors, or your teen is distancing themselves from you, which is, developmentally normal,
Yeah.
but it can feel like, unhealed abandonment wounds, unhealed
Mhm.
attachment wounds. So the parenting piece is something that I'm very, very passionate about in my work,
Awesome.
just because of that.
Yes, it's so good. And I already had some sessions this morning. So I know exactly what you're talking about when we want to support parents, but you can see the unhealed places and just how that adds. And I think we all have those.
Yes.
So, oh, that's just like so true. And tell me a little bit about how did you discover this?
Oh gosh. So I'm gonna be a little vulnerable
Yeah.
here. I just had a conversation like this with Jackie Flynn for the Child Symposium,
Yeah.
and I get a little activated, which I shared in that. Like that's always my signal to lean
Yeah.
in more
Oh,
because
okay.
that it's something that I just feel so passionate about. But
Mhm.
I personally have been on a lifelong journey of just my own self healing from my own childhood experiences.
Mhm.
And it wasn't really until I became more steeped in trauma work.
Yes.
So I've done a lot of training. I went the TraumaPlay route.
Yeah.
And so if you're a play therapist and you work with trauma, I highly recommend TraumaPlay.
Mm.
Um, I also am EMDR certified and a consultant in training for that. And so I have learned a lot about trauma to help to help my clients and then to help the clinicians I'm working with. But I learned so much about myself, and that I just still had a lot of healing to do.
Mm.
And so my own parenting journey. So I'm a mom. I have two teenagers and a 18-month-old little surprise baby girl.
Yeah.
And my own parenting journey has just been a really tough road. This time around has been really interesting to
Mm.
experience because I'm a lot more of a healed person now. But
Mhm.
it was really tough because I was trying to attune to my child.
Yeah.
My firstborn really is the one I think about.
Oh.
And I wasn't able to really attune to myself then. And learning how to do that in hard moments with your kids, because even if your kids haven't been through hard things yet, they still have big behaviors that
Yep.
come up, when
Yep.
they don't get their way or when they need something. So just learning how to be there for my child was really, really hard for me when I was a younger parent.
Mhm.
And I wasn't really able to show up in the way I wanted to because I hadn't had that poured into me when
Yes.
I was a child. So that's just kind of
Oh,
how I got into this path of just self healing and then realizing, like, gosh, if I could just help other parents.
yes.
I know they're out there struggling,
Mhm.
especially when their kids have been through really big things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think there's so much healing that we do. I think it's like almost like a privilege for being a therapist.
Yes,
Oh, it's so
yes,
cool. And it is really vulnerable. I know a lot of moms that I work with, no matter what they've done, they have regret. It's like,
yes,
I wish I would have, myself includes, like, I wish I would have. And it's like, yes,
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
opportunity, like you're saying, to lean in maybe a little bit, like you're saying,
Yeah,
when you
yeah, lean into it
activate it.
and learning from it, right? I mean, I think no matter what your journey has looked like, parenting is not there's no perfect
Yeah.
script out there. There's no perfect
Yeah.
book. There's no every child that we have is different. Every experience of parenting our children is different because
Yes.
we all have different personalities and different temperaments. And so I think we all, can cause some rupture. You don't have to have attachment wounds or childhood trauma to cause rupture in your relationships.
Yes,
And
yes.
so just being able to own that and, learn from it is really,
Yeah.
really important.
Oh, that's a big one. And especially as play therapists. So what's the first step that someone might take?
So for parents, I would
Yes.
say just becoming more aware of your felt sense and listening to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the thoughts that are coming up. Listen to those beliefs that have been spoken into you that show up when you're having a hard moment. For clinicians, I would say I would really encourage you to learn how to integrate more parent work into your work as play therapist or child
Yeah.
therapist.
Yes.
It's so valuable. And one of the things I tell my supervising and consultees or when I'm doing a training is parents really are the key to success with your clients. Like if you have a parent that's willing and able and desiring to have a better relationship with their child, that is really where the success is. It's not really what we're doing. We're just kind of the mediator or the tool to help put this family together in a more cohesive way.
Yes, I agree 100%. It's like, it's such a huge piece for
Yes.
new, especially to teach new play therapists.
Yes.
So good.
Oh,
Oh, there goes the
there's the
rooster.
rooster.
Good
Hello. He
mid-morning.
says hello.
Awesome. He's punctuating our point. It sounds really good. So, what's a common obstacle? There we go. We'll give him a
He's
chance.
agreeing. He's just agreeing with you, Maria.
I love it. Yeah, so what's a common obstacle that people face?
So I'm sorry.
Oh, he's good.
This is not about you, buddy. So I think just a general knowledge and understanding about trauma and how it affects your body,
Yeah.
right? Like he agrees.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
important to know.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't really understand how much trauma affects your functioning. And sometimes people don't even realize they have trauma, right? Until they're older.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts
That's for sure.
affecting their
Yeah.
relationships and they're like, what's going on? And then they go to counseling and then they learn. I mean, I've had a lot of adult clients who I've said, you've had some childhood trauma, and they're like, oh no, that's just the way life was.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessarily true. So just being able to learn about trauma, and clinicians as well. Like if you're working, I know a lot of people aren't trauma specialists, right? Like they don't specialize in that kind of work, but you're gonna deal with trauma at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So just the more you know, the more you can offer.
Yes, I think it's so interesting when therapists say they do trauma, because I feel like we all do. I think we all, whether it's not, you can't filter out for that.
No.
And it's so interesting, especially because I don't think that I think somewhere we mess up is that our kids, they don't like to be seen as a project.
Yeah.
And we want to be so perfect. When we try to parent perfectly, because I have a teenager now, I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we'd skip over this because I worked so hard on. They're not a project, and they can feel that when it's like, well, this isn't supposed to be happening. You're not supposed to have any adolescent reactions.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And I have, so much to say. And when you're talking about trauma, it's like, I think you're really talking about that, speaking of embodiment, speaking of your research, like that embodied experience.
Yes.
And I know for myself, like when I started to tune into my body, I was a teacher, and they brought this mindfulness program in, this conscious discipline, self-awareness. It had a big self-awareness piece for teachers.
Yeah.
And I remember not realizing that for almost all my entire life, this is a kind of silly example, but I had anxiety whenever I would pay for something.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I like having like an activation?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like so silly, but it's like, I can remember it now. Yeah, it makes me feel like, oh, it's like, and I remember thinking, take a breath. And so then I was able to like you're just going to pay for something.
Yeah, but something probably has happened in your life.
Exactly. And when we think about it, I mean, money, it's all really big.
Yes.
But if we help parents understand, like, just slow down for a second.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. Listen to your body.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. And so I think, how do I know if I'm doing it right?
How do I know if I'm doing it right? Here's your answer. He really wants to steal the show today.
I like that one. That was like a little deeper.
He's like, listen to me. So how do I know I'm doing it right? I think connection, I'm thinking about just parents and children connecting, and
Yeah.
also, witnessing that as a clinician, it's like an energy line, like connecting a car battery and jumping it off.
Yes.
You feed off of one another. Your nervous systems feed off one another, and so
Mhm.
when you have a bond and you repair those ruptures, because there's inevitably always going to be ruptures,
Yes.
especially in teenage years, right? Like,
Yes. Yes.
it's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
you can feel the energy, you can feel the
Yeah.
connection.
Mm.
And sometimes it feels vulnerable, but again, like I said, I've learned about myself, when it feels vulnerable, that means I'm in the right place, and I need to lean more
Yes.
into it and allow
Yes.
myself to feel that.
So
But
beautiful. And I think, when you were talking about with your chance with your third baby, to notice that you've had healing. Because
yes,
sometimes I think we don't notice where we've healed. And before we got on, I was telling you I've moved back to my hometown. I can notice the decade of work that I did on myself. So sometimes we get a chance, and just encouraging clinicians, practitioners, and parents to notice when there is healing.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, yes. We laugh about this baby. She's already a mess, but it's just like, I'm so much more relaxed. And of course, I'm quite a bit older now than I was,
Yes.
with my others. My oldest is about to be 19, but
Yeah.
it's just such a different. I don't get activated with her like I remember being with
Yes.
my older son when he was little.
Mm.
And we're at the almost terrible twos, they call
Yeah.
it, and she's tantrums all the time, and I'm just like, sis, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be mad.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much that's our time. So thank you so much for sharing this, and sharing your vulnerable spots, and giving me a space to share about my anxieties that I found, and just encouraging us all to heal and to work. Yeah, the work that we do as play therapists involves parents to such a degree. I think it's like double duty. I mean, we do a lot of work. So I encourage you to keep going with that. And I'm going to put all your info in the description. So thank you again,
Thank
Dayna.
you. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, thanks.